Imagine for a moment a world of seamless convenience, a single identity that unlocks everything. Your door, your bank account, your entire digital life. No passwords, no wallets, just a simple scan of your hand or a glance at a camera. It's being built right now in labs and government offices around the globe, a unified system of digital control. And for countless people, this terrifying future is the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy. A 2,000-year-old warning from the final book of the Bible. The book of Revelation, they point to the rise of artificial intelligence, to digital currency, and to microchip implants. And they whisper just one thing: the mark of the beast is here. But what if we've been looking at this all wrong? What if this fixation on futuristic technology has blinded us to the real and far more dangerous truth? The mark of the beast was never about a physical object. It was never about a chip or a barcode or a tattoo. The original audience of Revelation would have never understood it that way. They knew exactly what it was because they were living under its shadow. Today, we are going on a journey back to the dusty streets of the Roman Empire to uncover what this symbol truly meant. We will decode the number 666, not with futuristic algorithms, but with ancient languages. We will meet the insane emperor who inspired the myth, and we will discover the brutal economic system that forced every single person to choose a side. And when we finally see the ancient mark for what it truly was, a terrifying choice between loyalty and survival, you will never read the book of Revelation the same way again. And you will start to see the modern world, its digital promises, and its hidden costs with startling new eyes. This is the story of the mark of the beast, and why its true meaning has been hiding in plain sight all along. Our story doesn't start in the future. It starts in the past, on a small rocky island off the coast of Italy called Patmos. The air is salty, the sun is harsh, and an old man named John is here. Not on vacation, but as a prisoner. John is one of the original followers of Jesus. He is exiled for his preaching and for refusing to bow down to Rome. He is cut off from everything he loves, his friends, the churches he helped build. Every day, Roman soldiers watch him closely. They are symbols of the empire's absolute power, a power that stretches across the known world. And it is here, in isolation and persecution, that John has a vision, a series of breathtaking and terrifying images. These visions would eventually be written down and sent back to the 7 churches he loved so much, in the cities of Ephesus, Smyrna, and Pergamum. This book we call Revelation was not a cryptic codex meant for people 2 millennia in the future. It was a pastoral letter, a desperate and hopeful message. It was written specifically for those 7 churches in Asia Minor, communities of believers who were under immense pressure and facing terrible persecution. To understand the mark, we must first understand the beast. And to understand the beast, we must step into the sandals of those first-century Christians and see the world through their eyes. A world dominated by one overwhelming presence. The Roman Empire. Rome was not just a government. It was a religion, a culture, an economic powerhouse. It built magnificent roads and aqueducts. It brought a form of peace, the Pax Romana, but this peace came at a cost. Total submission. And at the very heart of this system was the cult of the emperor, the divine Caesar. Now let's talk about the beast. Revelation describes a monstrous creature rising from the sea, with 10 horns and 7 heads. On its heads were blasphemous names. For centuries, scholars, theologians, and conspiracy theorists have debated who or what this represents. But if we listen to the original audience, the answer becomes clear. The beast from the sea is the Roman Empire, the great oppressive power that emerged from across the Mediterranean Sea, and the 7 heads. These are widely understood to represent a line of Roman emperors, the specific ones who ruled during this tumultuous period. But one emperor above all others cast such a long and dark shadow. His name and his legacy became forever entwined with the prophecy. His name was Nero Claudius Caesar. Nero was the 5th emperor of Rome. He became infamous for his brutality, paranoia, and decadence. Ancient historians like Suetonius and Tacitus tell us he possibly murdered his own mother and his wife. He famously fiddled while a great fire consumed Rome, a fire he may have started himself to clear land for a new palace. And most crucially for our story, Nero was the first emperor to systematically persecute Christians. He used them as a scapegoat for the fire in Rome. He had them arrested, covered in tar, and burned alive as human torches to light his garden parties. He had been torn apart by wild animals in the Colosseum for public entertainment. Nero was the nightmare, the boogeyman. His name was synonymous with pure evil. But how does this connect to the famous number 666? The answer lies in an ancient practice called gematria, a type of code where letters have numerical values. Many languages, including Hebrew and Greek, use their letters as numbers. The Book of Revelation was written in Greek, but its author John was a Hebrew thinker, and he knew this code well. Now take the title Nero Caesar and spell it in Hebrew letters, Ner and Kaiser. Now add the values. Nun n equals 50, resh r equals 200, vav q equals 6, nun n equals 50, kafe q equals 100, samek s equals 60, resh r ejen r equals 200. 50, 200, 650, 100, 60, 200 equals 666. It is a code. A brilliantly subversive way for John to point the finger directly at the heart of the Roman system and its tyrannical leader without the Roman authorities immediately understanding it. He was saying the beast, the spirit of oppression and idolatry you are facing, has a name, and its numerical value is 666. It is the system of Nero Caesar. Revelation chapter 13 verse 16 says this: He also forced everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on his right hand or on his forehead, so that no one could buy or sell unless he had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of his name. This is the key. The function of the mark is economic control. It is a loyalty test that grants you access to the economy, the ability to buy food, to sell your goods, to participate in society itself. So what did this look like in the 1st century? It was not a microchip. It was something far more mundane and far more insidious. It was the Roman coinage and the imperial cult. Every single coin that jingled in the purse of a Christian in Ephesus bore the image of the emperor, and inscriptions proclaiming him to be divine. Titles like Pontifex Maximus, Supreme High Priest, or Divi Filius, Son of a God. To use this money was to handle a tiny monument to a man who claimed to be God, but it went even deeper. In many cities, especially in Asia Minor, where the 7 churches were located, you could not simply walk into the marketplace to buy a loaf of bread or a piece of meat. The guilds, the trade associations that controlled commerce, often required participation in a simple pagan ritual before you could trade. You would have to take a pinch of incense, drop it on an altar dedicated to the divine emperor, and declare your allegiance by saying just 3 words: Kaiser Kyrios, Caesar is Lord. For a Roman citizen, this was just patriotism. For a pagan, it was no big deal. But for a Christian, it was the ultimate nightmare. It was the unthinkable choice. Their entire faith was built on the confession that Jesus Christ is Lord, Kyrios Isis Christos. To say Kaiser Kyrios was to deny the very core of their belief, to commit idolatry. The mark on the right hand represented the economic action of taking the coin or offering the incense. The mark on the forehead represented the public declaration of allegiance, the intellectual surrender. The system said, bow to Caesar, declare his lordship, and you can eat. You can provide for your family, refuse, and you will be excluded. You will be pushed to the margins of society. You will starve. The mark of the beast was never a physical mark. It was a spiritual choice of allegiance, made visible through economic participation. Now let's bring this story into the present day with our new understanding. If the essence of the mark is a system that forces a choice of ultimate allegiance in exchange for economic participation, does that sound familiar? We are building the most comprehensive global economic and identity system in human history. We are not being forced to burn incense to a statue, but we are being asked to trade our privacy, our data, and our autonomy for convenience and access. Consider the central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, being developed around the world. This is not conspiracy theory. It is public record on the websites of the Federal Reserve and the Bank of England. Unlike cryptocurrency, CBDCs are programmable money issued by a central authority. They could theoretically be coded with rules. You must spend this money only at approved places, or this money expires if not used by a certain date, or your access to funds can be turned off with a click if your social credit score is too low. This is not a prediction. It is a technological capability. Consider our digital identities. We already have a form of mark, our social media profiles, our Apple ID, our Google accounts. They are the keys to our modern world. Lose access to your Google account and see how quickly you are locked out of your email, your documents, your photos, your contacts, your ability to buy apps. We already live in a system where participation in the economy and society is increasingly dependent on our digital identity. The question Revelation asks us is not, will you take a chip? The question is, where does your ultimate allegiance lie? Do you trust a digital system, a government, or a corporation to be your ultimate provider? For your security, for your identity, for your safety? Or is your trust, your ultimate allegiance, placed somewhere else? The ancient warning is that anytime a system, whether it's ancient Rome or a modern digital state, demands our ultimate worship, demands that we sacrifice our core convictions for the sake of convenience and access, we are facing the same old beast in a new form. The prophecy of the mark of the beast is not a puzzle to be solved so we can identify the right microchip. It is a timeless warning about the seductive power of systems that demand our worship. It is a call to awareness, to discernment. It asks us to look at the world around us and to ask not, what is the mark, but where is my allegiance? Would I be willing to be excluded, to be pushed to the margins, to suffer inconvenience for what I truly believe in? The real battle has never been against technology. Technology is neutral. The real battle is for the human heart and its ultimate loyalty. So the next time you use your face to unlock your phone, or you hear a news story about digital currency, remember the Christians in the marketplace of ancient Pergamum, holding a Roman coin in one hand and their conviction in the other. They understood the cost of allegiance, and their ancient choice echoes into our modern world, challenging us to decide who and what we will truly serve. If this journey into the heart of one of the Bible's most misunderstood prophecies changed your perspective, share this video with someone who needs to see it. Let me know in the comments what you think the modern parallel is, and subscribe to this channel, because we are just getting started uncovering the ancient truths hidden within our history and our scriptures. Thanks for watching.